Well, Malcolm Scott and DeMarco Carpenter were just 17 years old when they were sent to prison, where they would likely have died of old age. But today, the two men, once boyhood friends in Tulsa, are now free. A Tulsa district judge this week vacated their sentences, saying both were wrongfully convicted of murder more than 20 years ago.
The fates of DeMarco Carpenter and Malcolm Scott, both sentenced to life in prison for murder, were dramatically altered by the words of Tulsa District Judge Sharon Holmes this week. She declared there was a fundamental miscarriage of justice against the men and that the facts presented to her proved they were both innocent. The mothers of Carpenter and Scott waited 21 years to hear what they always knew to be true.
Oh, God is good. Yes, all the time. Thank you.
During their son's imprisonment, both women held on to each other and their shared faith that justice would ultimately prevail.
I've been waiting so long. I'm so happy.
This videotape of death row inmate Michael Lee Wilson, recorded by the Oklahoma Innocence Project 2 days before he was executed, was part of the evidence presented to Judge Holmes.
But I shot Karen Summers, Ken Price, and I don't remember his name. I want to say his name was Alonzo, but all I know was by his little 7. He came to the house wanting to question me, and what's so crazy, I have the gun on me. It kind of blew me away that I got caught with a gun and they just let me go.
Wilson, along with Scott and Carpenter, were charged with murder in the drive-by shooting death of Karen Summers and the wounding of 2 others. But Wilson cut a plea deal to testify against Carpenter and Scott. However, when the trial came, Wilson had already been charged in another murder, and he refused to testify. In the videotape confession, Wilson said the 2 men with him the night of the killing were not Scott and Carpenter.
Billy Alverson was driving. I was behind him on the driver's side, and Richard Harjo was in the back seat on the passenger side.
Richard Harjo's testimony, who's in prison for another murder, corroborated Wilson's statement. After the judge's declaration of innocence, family members of the vindicated men gathered at the Tulsa County Jail and waited hours for the release of their loved ones. Carpenter's sister was among the many thankful for the judge's ruling.
We know he was at home that night, and so for a higher power to come in and say, look, yes, he's innocent, that really made our day. We've been trying to prove this for a long time.
Also waiting for the release of the men was Eric Cullen, a private investigator who took on the wrongful conviction investigation 10 years ago. He gave his findings to the Oklahoma Innocence Project after unsuccessfully trying to get other attorneys to take the case for 5 years.
You know, I have had a lot of gratifying things in my career, I'm not going to lie, but this is number one for sure, by far.
The first to be set free was Malcolm Scott. His wheelchair-bound mother was the person he was most eager to see.
Thank you for never giving up on me.
Then it was Carpenter's walk to freedom. In a news conference following their release, words of gratitude and joy.
Excellent, wonderful, extraordinary, magical.
I want to thank my incomparable legal team, and all the legal students from the Oklahoma Innocence Project. They've been, I can't even say what they've been, but I'm grateful.
As for Eric Cullen, who put the men's cases in the hands of the Innocence Project.
And, I didn't have money, my family didn't have a lot of money, but this guy, this guy right here, he did it, he came in and he did everything he could from out the kindness of his heart. He never charged us a dime, but he believed in me.
Christina Green, the legal director of the Oklahoma Innocence Project, was a law student when she took on the case.
Wrongful convictions happen. They happen in Oklahoma. There are projects like ours. The Oklahoma Innocence Project at Oklahoma City University School of Law will continue to make sure that these wrongs are righted.
As for the futures of Carpenter and Scott, well, they're dreaming big and small.
It's obvious that I can't pursue my NBA career. So, but I've been told that I have Denzel Washington and George Clooney good looks. So I think I'm going to be an actor, going to Hollywood.
20 years later, what do you do now?
Oh man, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, but I know I'm gonna go get in the jacuzzi. Yeah.